Hey everyone. Today, President Bush signed into law the Military Commissions Act. You may have heard about this bill, that it will help protect American citizens from further terrorist attacks, the so-called Tough on Terror bill. I will quote from President Bush, who said today during the signing, "The bill I signed today helps secure this country, and it sends a clear message. This nation is patient and decent and fair, and will never back down from the threats of our freedom." Remember that quote. So let's talk about this Military Commissions Act that I've been hearing about a lot, because it directly infringes on the rights of Americans, even those who are legal citizens of the U.S. For example, in Section 948A, the definitions of a lawful enemy combatant are a member of the regular forces of a state party engaged in hostilities against the United States. This is a soldier of another country. B, a member of a militia, volunteer groups, or organized resistance movement belonging to a state party engaged in such hostilities, which under responsible command wear a fixed distinctive sign recognizable at a distance, carry their arms openly, and abide by the law of war. Or C, a member of a regular armed forces who professes allegiance to government engaged in such hostilities, but not recognized by the United States. Now, the definition for an unlawful enemy combatant is 1. A person who is engaged in hostilities or has purposefully and materially supported hostilities against the United States or its co-belligerents who is not a lawful enemy combatant, including a person who is part of the Taliban or Al-Qaeda or associated forces. Or 2, and this is really important here, a person who, before, on, or after the date of the enactment of the Military Commissions Act of September 2006, today, has been determined to be an unlawful enemy combatant by a combatant status review tribunal or another competent tribunal established under the authority of the President or the Secretary of Defense. What that says is that President Bush or Donald Rumsfeld can simply label anyone an unlawful enemy combatant because they are the only authority of the Combatant Status Review Tribunal. Now, some of you might be saying, no big deal, we still got our habeas corpus. Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't get the memo? Imagine that this piece of paper is habeas corpus. Looks fine, right? It's great. It's excellent. Now imagine that this is habeas corpus after the signing of the Military Commissions Act. It's gone. It doesn't exist anymore. Allow me to explain. Here's the key wording of the law under Section 950J. Provisions of Chapter Sole Basis for Review of the Military Commission Procedures and Actions, except as otherwise provided in this chapter and notwithstanding any other provision of the law, including Section 2241 or Title 28 and any other habeas corpus provision. No court, justice, or judge shall have the jurisdiction to hear or consider any claim or cause of action whatsoever, including any action pending on or filed after the date of the enactment of the Military Commissions Act of 2006 relating to the prosecution, trial, or judgment of a military commission under this chapter, including challenges to the lawfulness or procedures of the military commissions under this chapter. I believe what this says is that no legal system in any form has the authority to hear or consider any issues related to the prosecution, trial, or judgment of someone deemed an enemy of the United States as defined in this bill. Remember the definition of an unlawful enemy combatant, because the definition is dependent upon whoever Bush and Rumsfeld label as an unlawful enemy combatant. It means that any one of us can be held as an unlawful enemy combatant towards the U.S. And we have no rights, no habeas corpus, nothing. My fellow Americans, we are fucked. And we have ourselves to blame for being too complacent, for not caring enough to pay attention, for allowing this to progress this far. Remember that quote I gave at the beginning of this report? Quote from Bush: "The bill I signed today helps secure this country, and it sends a clear message. This nation is patient and decent and fair, and we will never back down from the threats to our freedom." It's ironic that Bush, with the signing of the Military Commissions Act, becomes the greatest threat to our American freedoms. Mr. Bush, I promise to hold your sentiments true and never back down to threats to my freedom, which just so happens to be you.